Welcome back everyone to the VR Hopper. We're playing Life Alyx. This is the greatest VR game at the moment, and probably will be for the next 5 years, or at least until the other developers get their act together. Because all we're getting at the moment is a lot of tech demos, mostly tech demos and short experiences for a decent amount of money. But this game gives it to you all. So I'm going to be playing this game in a few parts, all the way to the end. Room scale, so you can see, you should be able to see by now the outline of the play area that I'm in. I'm going to be walking everywhere through this game just by turning the camera and putting my play area over the next part of the world that I want to walk through. This is a great way to play VR. So I'm going to be showing you how great this is. I'm just going to write my channel name here. This is a bit of a meme at the moment. Everybody writes their YouTube channel name on this window. VR Hopper. Yeah, but we're going to be looking at some room scale gameplay of this game. This game is so good as with room scale because of how immersive the game is to start with, and just having the space to walk around, it makes it so good. But let's take a look now at the gameplay footage. I'm going to be chiming in every now and then, just talking about various aspects of the game and what I experienced playing it. But let's just get into the footage now and enjoy it. That is great to experience in VR. You're not expecting that leg to hit the window, or not the window, the roof where you're standing. That's the developers definitely know what you're going to be experiencing there. It's such an immersive world they've created as well. This City 17 is so fleshed out and almost real. I mean, you can almost feel the plight of the citizens and the people living there. And they did the same thing with Half-Life 2. They did that really well as well, to show, you know, the kind of struggles of the people living there, and have done it again here, and the fact that it's in VR just makes it even more immersive. It's great. This scene, for example, this is a fantastic scene. And it's only a couple of minutes into the game.
I'm headed back to the safe house right now to meet Dad. Go. We'll be in touch. Stay safe.
So you can see the room scale, how the room scale is working here. Just looking to where you want to go. I'm at the edge of my room. Rotate the camera, move the room over to where you want to walk in the world, and just keep going through the game. It just makes it so good. This is about an 8 by 6 meter room that I'm in, sort of L-shaped, as you can see there. About 6 by 8 meters, and yeah, just walking through the world and the rooms takes this game to. I mean, it's already a fantastic game, but it just makes it so much better. It's such a well optimized game too. I'm running this on a RTX 3070. I've got a Ryzen 5 5600X 32 gigs of RAM, and this is the Quest 2 virtual desktop, so I'm free to walk around, and it runs really well. It is a very well optimized title. They've done a really good job. this is a great scene to experience for the first time.
Didn't steal anything. Don't care. What did you see? No, I didn't see anyone.
Dad! Hey, wait, no! Where are you taking me? Where's my father?
I mean, this is such a good game. You know, we're very lucky to have it because it's the only game of its kind. 99% of the VR games out there are short, 1-hour experiences, tech demos, and I mean, we've had that for the past 5 years since VR became mainstream, and it was inevitable that it would be like that. But I think I'm at a point where I want developers. I want a little bit more from developers, and this game should be setting an example for them.
Alex, you there?
It is a tough act to follow, but
Russell? I've been in an accident.
I mean, if the average game could be, 4 to 8 hours now instead of 1 to 2 hours like they are, even new games released today, new VR games are 1 to 2 hours long. You can pay $20-$30 for that. I think we as gamers have got to start demanding a little bit more from VR developers. It's been 5 years. They've had 5 years to
So, Dad's okay.
study the tech and see how players interact with, games and worlds. And they need to make something of that data, just like Valve did. Valve used the lab to study how players interacted with things, and then from that information they created this game. We're still getting a lot of short tech demos and experiences from the majority of developers out there.
Sure. Yeah, I'll be there in a minute.
So the other really good thing about having the room outline is it really fights motion sickness, because that line is the real world, and if you do start feeling a bit lightheaded, just focus on the play area outline there, and it stabilizes you. It brings you back, because that's a point of reference for you. And I've made the outline as close to 18% grey as possible, so that colour should blend in with as many scenes as possible, and it really works when I'm not focused on the outline. It sort of just disappears.
But the good news is we've got something they don't.
I mean, dark scenes like this, it's a little bit obvious, but in most scenes that are mid-tone, that play area, when you're not focused on it, just vanishes from your sight, so it doesn't interfere or doesn't break the immersion at all. It's a bit different if you're watching a video, but yeah, it's not as impactful as you might think.
This is Eli to Nova Prospect.
And if he gets on that train, that's it, right?
Not necessarily. Grab something that represents us. Okay, that's you.
I thought you said us.
Well, one of us, me, will have to stay here for this plan to work.
All right, fair enough.
Just outside there's a second train that also leads out of City 17 through the quarantine zone.
Okay.
Both trains intersect here at Fairview Junction. You take your train, get there before his train, and hack into the controls. That'll let me take over the system. Train comes to a halt, you deal with the Combine situation, and we get your dad back.
Sounds good. Where's the train I'm taking?
Out the back, through the yard. It's decommissioned, but I think I can hack into its controls. Oh, and get yourself a pair of Russells on the way out.
Russell's?
The gloves, Alex. You know, the gravity gloves. I have a few sets through there. You can calibrate them out by the shed.
Got it.
We can do this, Alex. You got that, didn't you, that I said we could do it? Because we're gonna do it.
Yeah, we are.
I'm with you every step of the way.
Right, you know how this goes. There should be a bunch of junk down there. Aim at something with your hand open. Targeted. Alright, make a fist. Registered. Now flick your wrist to bring it in. Just like that. Try again.
If you look at this particular scene right here,
One more
the
time.
play area just
Boom. Yep.
really blends
Perfect.
into the
We're done.
environment.
Oh,
It's a
wait.
mid-tone play
I
area,
forgot.
and you don't notice it at all. You can see it on the ground there. If you look at it, you can see it, but if you're not looking at it, you wouldn't know it's there.
Oh, almost forgot. Guns need ammo. Here you go. Right, heading back to the comm room.
Oh, you took care of that lock then. Good. Great. Did have the key for it, but should have given you that. That's on me. Good. I'll see if I can get you in some other way.
I got a dead zombie here. I thought the Combine sealed up the QZ.
This one must have squirted out. I've heard they've had trouble with barnacle spores outside the containment area, but not about fellas like this.
Probably not a one-off then.
I doubt it. Would you look at that? Resin. And if there's resin around here, there should be a Combine fabricator. Keep an eye out. We might be able to upgrade your firepower a bit.
So the game's got really good attention to detail. The graffiti on that wall that we've just walked past is... I mean, a lot of developers would not have included that. So with the in-game locomotion, I mean the goal here is to walk everywhere in the game to increase the immersion, but there's a few areas where you can't do that. You can't walk up and down stairs, otherwise you'll just walk through them, which is a bit of a shame. But if you look at Doom 3 on the Quest, that's a great VR port, and if you actually just walk through the stairs, your character will go up them. You don't have to teleport in that game. But Half-Life Alyx doesn't do that for some reason, but it's just a small thing.
Oh, careful of that barnacle, Alex.
But most of the time, just walking everywhere just makes it so good. There's a couple of places where I'll teleport back and forth really quickly. And that's usually places where I'm just exploring corners just to see if there's any bonuses and things like that. I don't actually think bonuses should be a big part of virtual reality either, because they're very... If you look at things like bonuses and power-ups and things like that, they've been sort of staples, sort of hallmarks of video games, like right from the beginning, right from the 80s when we were playing 8-bit games, and even before that. Bonuses and power-ups have been...
I don't need to tell you what happened after that.
a staple part of video games, and even, you know, when we went to 3D games, they were still there. I'm not sure they should have such a big role in virtual reality, because it's very gamey, it's a very video gamey thing to have, and when you're in virtual reality, you're not really doing that, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, if you were, like, it's so real, if you were really in this world, exploring and doing these things, you wouldn't go out of the way to get a bonus or a power up. It's not something that you do. It's not normal behavior. So it's a video gamey sort of thing to have bonuses and power ups and secrets that you look for. And I think I'd like to see it used very sparingly in virtual reality. And so there's a few scenes here where I'm looking for, because in this game you do have to get, I can't remember what they're called. You've got to collect those items to boost your weapon. And so you sort of have to explore a little bit and find those bonuses and items. And whenever I'm doing that, I just teleport, you know, around the place really quickly just to find them. So yeah, it's very video gamey, and it breaks the immersion a little bit. And like I said, when virtual reality becomes mainstream, I think developers should use power-ups very sparingly, at least in story-rich, you know, very serious games like this anyway.
There we go, finally.
I'm gonna head in. How far is Fairview Junction?
You'll go through the old subway tunnels on your way to the train yard.
Have they started moving Dad yet?
I don't think so, which is good news because we've still got time.
Ah, that's great.
Or bad news because they've already killed him. And you don't need to move a corpse, you just bury it. Or burn it. Still there, Alex?
Mm-hmm. Russell, are you seeing this?
Whoa.
All right. Here we go.
This is another great room to walk through in VR and room scale. The lighting, the atmosphere is amazing. I nearly walked into that thing there. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I was looking at something else. I turned around and that thing's about to hit me in the head, and that was like, whoa, a bit of a shock.
Do you hear that?
What is that?
This scene is another really good scene to demonstrate room scale. There's something around the corner here, and I'm literally walking up to the corner to peer around it. If you didn't have room scale, you couldn't do this. You'd have to teleport to the corner and then do your VR thing, or use the locomotion to go up to the edge. But I could walk the entire way. It was just so much more immersive. And when you've got to teleport, and when you've got to use locomotion to get somewhere, and then do your VR activity, it breaks the immersion. It feels like you're on a Kentucky tour where you get off at certain stops to have some fun. And then maybe that's a bad example.
It's not though, obviously.
But that was great. Just walking slowly up to that corner and peering around it. The whole way walking was really fun. I don't like in-game locomotion in VR. It feels like you're on a Segway.
Russells have a built-in display that shows you resin, ammo, might come in handy.
Got it. Thanks. Oh boy.
Yeah, be careful.
This entire sequence on the train is one of the best parts of the opening game, and there's a reason that this part of the game is in so many advertising segments. There's something I love here as well that you can do, the physics, opening the door with the gun. That's great. I love that. That feels really good. Actually backed up into my wall there. You saw the screen shake a little bit because I backed up into the wall. So even with the outline, I mean the experience is so immersive that you forget sometimes, and you'll walk into a wall even with the play area outline, like I just did. This scene here just looks so good. You really just stop and stare at it because it looks so good in VR. I mean, you don't need ray tracing. There's this big talk about ray tracing these days and how it's the future of gaming. Look how good this looks. This looks better than ray tracing because ray tracing's got its limitations at the moment. But I mean, I'm not a big fan of ray tracing. This looks fantastic. These baked-in shadows can be done with so much more artistic style than what ray tracing can do. And it runs much smoother as well. It has to for VR. They have to do this, but it's just one of those things that's necessary, but it actually ends up looking better. This scene here was really fun to play. I thought I could just get away from this guy, close the door and be done with it, but the door wouldn't close, and I'm kind of He's getting closer and closer, and I'm like, what do I do? Eventually I had to engage him, but this was really that was really fun. That was a bit of a oh crap moment.
Nice shooting, Alex.
Thanks.
Here's another example of room scale. You can shimmy through gaps and places that you can't go with locomotion. Now here's an example of what I was talking about before. I'm looking for bonuses and power-ups, and I'm just teleporting quickly to see if there's anything there, because I don't really consider it to be part of the experience. And like I said, I think they should use bonuses and power-ups very sparingly in VR.
Where to go? Yep, there it is. Found it. Probably only one of those. Okay, two of them.
And that's it for part 1 of this playthrough series. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I'll be back real soon with more Half-Life Alyx. Like I said, we're going to play through the whole game and talk about VR in general and this game as well. But until then, take care.